Welcome back once again, all of my low-carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today I have another very easy keto Italian bread recipe for you. Today I'm going to show you how to make quick, easy keto focaccia. Now I know I probably mispronounced that, but y'all know I barely speak my English words right. So we are making focaccia today. Now, if you don't know what focaccia is, it is basically an Italian leavened flatbread. Most flatbread does not have any leavening agents to them, but focaccia has a leavening agent, baking powder. And so it is a leavened flatbread, and it's used for pretty much anything that you want bread for. You can make it as a sandwich, you can make it as a side bread, you could make it into a pizza. I mean, you can do basically anything with it. So if you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janet'sdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out videos, at least every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So while I do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 325 degrees. Line an 8 by 12 inch cake pan or baking sheet with parchment paper. Allow the paper to hang over the sides just a little bit so you can easily remove the bread once it's done baking. Lightly grease your parchment paper with a little bit of olive oil. This dough is a very sticky dough, so you do want to make sure that you're not only lining your pan with paper, but you are lightly greasing the paper. Then set the pan aside for a minute. In a large mixing bowl, combine 105 grams or around 1 cup of sunflower seed flour. As I will always tell you guys, you do not have to buy this special, just make your own. If you haven't seen my little short video on how to make your own sunflower seed flour in 5 minutes, check that out. Add 44 grams or around 6 tablespoons of coconut flour, 36 grams or around 6 tablespoons of whey protein powder. Now, I haven't tried this with any other protein powders. I'm pretty sure it would work with egg white protein powder and probably with most other protein powders, but I'm not 100% positive. In this particular recipe, we're using the protein powder for texture, so other protein powders may or may not work. You can check those out if you want to. Add 15 grams or around 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 9 grams or around 1 tablespoon of instant dry yeast. This is optional. I just add the yeast for flavor. This bread is not going to rise. It is a flat bread. So the yeast is just going to give your bread a little bit more of a traditional focaccia bread flavor. Add 1 tablespoon of dry Italian seasonings. This is optional also. If you don't want your bread to have an Italian seasoned taste, you can leave it out. If you just wanted a neutral flavor bread, that's all up to you. Sift the dry ingredients all together until everything is fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Add 2 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they're room temperature, they stir in smoother that way. And 108 milliliters or around 9 tablespoons of olive oil. Stir everything together until everything is fully combined and all the dry ingredients are moist. Gradually add in 60 milliliters or around 1/4 cup of room temperature water. You want to just add this in about 1 to 2 tablespoons at a time and give it a good stir for about 20 to 30 seconds. You're only wanting enough water to make a thick, wet, sticky dough. For me, it took exactly 60 milliliters, about 1/4 of a cup. But depending on the texture of the flours and the protein powders you're using, you may need a little less, you may need a little more. So we're just looking for a thick, wet, sticky dough. Once your dough is formed, scrape down the sides of the bowl and push the dough to the center of the bowl. Then scoop the dough into your prepared baking pan or baking sheet, whatever you're using. Use a wooden spoon or your hands and spread and press the dough evenly throughout your pan. If you're using your hands, make sure you lightly dampen your hands before you start pressing the dough out. Otherwise, the dough is going to stick to your fingers. Once the dough is evenly pressed, very lightly dampen just the tips of your fingers. Then press just the tips of your fingers into the surface of your dough to make small indentions in the top part of your dough all the way across your dough. Now don't push too hard. You're not wanting to make holes in your bread. You're just wanting to make some small indentions. It just helps release air and give your bread a nice textured top. Place the bread in your preheated oven. Bake at 325 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes or until the bread is golden. Once the bread is done baking, remove it from the oven and allow it to cool in the pan for about 10 minutes or until it's firmed up a little bit. After 10 minutes, grasp the overhanging parchment paper and carefully lift the bread out of your pan or baking sheet, then transfer it to a wire rack. If you're going to be cutting it immediately, then transfer it to a cutting surface. Cut the bread into your desired size squares or rectangles. I cut mine into about 15 sections. They're all different size. I made some of mine little, some of mine big, depending on what I wanted to use them for. Once they're cut, you can serve them warm or at room temperature. All right, here we are with my piece of focaccia. I always do the hand thing when you speak Italian. Don't ask me why. But anyway, there is one of my pieces. I just brushed a little bit of melted garlic butter over the top of it. I don't know if you can see that really well, but there it is. It smells delicious. Very, very tasty smelling. Now, depending on how much chlorophyll your sunflower seed flour has in it, your bread may or may not get a greenish tint to it. Don't freak out if it does. That's just from the chlorophyll that is in sunflower seeds. My sunflower seed flour doesn't have that much chlorophyll in that it doesn't have much of a green tint. It's got a little tiny green tint to it, but nothing big and alarming. But just to give you a heads up with that, if you see it looking a little green, don't worry. It's just the sunflower seed flour. Sometimes that does that. Anyway, this has got melted garlic butter on the top. Smells delicious, and let's taste this. Yeah, that is very good. It has a very, very nice taste. Those Italian seasonings that I put in there really bring out a really good flavor in the bread. Doesn't taste like coconut flour because it's mixed in with the sunflower seed flour, so it doesn't have a coconut flour taste and it doesn't have a sunflower seed taste. So the two flours together plus the protein powder kind of balances out any dominant flavors that either one of the flours might have. Has a really nice soft texture with a little bit dense crust on the bottom. That's typical of focaccia. Nice, very good flavor. Very sturdy, so if you're going to make a sandwich with it, has a nice sturdy texture. Yeah, thumbs up. See the thumb? Thumbs up. Yes, yes. I like it. You can eat these immediately. If you do have any leftovers, store them in an airtight container at room temperature for up to 3 days, or in an airtight container in your refrigerator for up to 5 days, or in a freezer-safe airtight container in your freezer for up to 1 month. If you do store them in the freezer, make sure you put some parchment paper in between each one of the squares so they don't stick together. Eat and enjoy. And that's a recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.